I never thought a crack in the floor could ruin my life. It started last winter, days after I moved into a small rental apartment above an old bookstore. The place wasn't expensive, just old, dusty, and oddly quiet. The floorboards creaked like they were sighing whenever I walked, and the heater rattled like someone shaking pipes. But I liked it. Or I did until I noticed the wires. They were thin, copper-colored, sticking out from a space between two floorboards near my bed, almost like someone had tried to push them deeper, but failed. I thought they were just electrical wires coming loose, so I leaned down to tuck them back in. That's when I heard it, a muffled voice coming from inside the floor. At first, it sounded like a whisper. Then, it grew clearer. Someone down there was talking. I tore back, stunned. That's all I heard, just that single word spoken from beneath me. I called my landlord immediately. "That's just plumbing noise," he said quickly. Way too quickly. He hung up before I could even argue. The wires moved. I watched them shift, like something was pulling from below. Not slow movement, but tight tugging, like a hand gripping them hard. I heard scraping beneath my mattress, the sound of something dragging across wood. My heart froze. Something was crawling down there, and it wanted something. The wires pulled again hard, and then I heard tapping against the wood from under my bed. 3 taps, a pause, then 2, like knocking. I slept on the couch. The next morning I went to check again. There was dust pushed out from the crack, and the wires, previously copper, were now wrapped tightly in black tape, as if someone had done it overnight. Someone who should not physically be able to reach them. I called the landlord again. He didn't answer. So I knocked on the bookstore owner's door downstairs. A thin old woman opened the door halfway, her eyes tired but focused. I asked her about the building, how old it was, whether anyone had lived here long before me. She didn't answer my questions, then closed the door. That night I woke up to the sound of breathing under the floor. Slow, labored breathing. Someone was directly beneath me, under the wooden boards, struggling to breathe. Then, a whisper again. Help! Not demanding, just crying. Soft and broken. I stared at the floor, shaking. I didn't want to help. I didn't want to even exist in that room anymore. I called 911, thinking someone might be trapped. The dispatcher arrived with police 20 minutes later. They checked the crawl space. There was nothing. No dust disturbed. No marks on the wood. No tunnel space where someone could fit. They looked at me like I needed sleep. They left. That night, the wires weren't just pulled, they were lifted. Something under the floor dragged them upward through the crack so hard that the floorboard bent slightly. I heard crying, not whispered this time, but sobbing. And beneath the sobbing was scraping, like nails clawing wood. I ran outside and didn't come back until noon. When I returned, the wires were gone. Nothing remained of them. No gap, no marks, no nails, just smooth wood. The floorboard was fixed, perfectly flush, too perfectly, like someone repaired it from inside. I packed to leave immediately. Right before closing the door for the last time, I heard it again from directly beneath the living room floor. Don't leave me. I didn't look back. I walked outside, locked the door, and drove away. 2 days later, the landlord finally called back. He said quietly, "You should not have lived in that room." I asked. His voice cracked. I hung up. He never called again. And now sometimes, when I lie down at night, I swear I hear tapping, not from beneath wood, but beneath my mattress. 3 taps, a pause, then 2, someone still calling. But the wires aren't there anymore. Now it's just the sound. I never used to think anything was wrong with living alone. In fact, after my divorce, solitude felt like a blessing. Quiet dinners, quiet mornings, quiet everything. That changed the night I saw the man standing in my driveway. It was raining hard, one of those cold, unfinished storms where the sky looks bruised. I was washing dishes when I noticed him through the window, a tall person standing completely still, facing the house. At first, I assumed he was someone checking addresses, maybe a lost delivery driver or a neighbor, but he wasn't moving. He didn't shift for shelter, didn't wipe the rain from his face. He just stood there. After maybe 30 seconds, lightning flashed across the sky, just bright enough to reveal something the darkness had been hiding. He wasn't wearing shoes, bare feet, soaking in mud. I didn't know what to do. Call police? Turn off lights? Talk to him? Before I could decide, he turned around slowly and walked away. No running, no hesitation, just walked. Not down the road, not toward another house, just back into the woods, as if the trees had been expecting him. The next night he was back. Same spot, same posture, same stillness, except this time, his head tilted slightly toward the window, as if he could see me through the glare on the glass. I stepped away, heart pounding. I called 911. They sent an officer. When he arrived, the driveway was empty. I insisted someone had been standing there. The officer shined his flashlight across the ground. The mud where the man stood was smooth, untouched, like no one had ever been there. He asked. I didn't respond. He left, and I tried to sleep. I kept checking the blinds. He didn't return that night. 2 weeks passed, just enough time for my body to believe it was over. My doorbell rang. Not buzzing, not pounding, just one slow ring. I froze. I didn't answer. I didn't move. From the peephole, I saw nothing. But through the side window, I saw something else. A wet footprint. Bare mud pressed perfectly against my front porch tile. One footprint, then another, then one more, leading away from the door, not toward the street, but toward the garage side gate. I didn't open the door until morning. When the sun rose, the footprints had dried, except they didn't continue. Those 3 footprints were the only ones. Nothing showed him approaching. No trail, no exit path. Just 3 prints appearing from nowhere, then stopping mid-concrete, like he had vanished into air. I bought floodlights that day, installed motion cameras, double-locked every door. I thought it would make me feel safe. It didn't. Because 3 nights later, motion alerts started going off in rapid bursts. I opened the feed. Nobody was there. Light on empty driveway. Light off, dark driveway. Light on again, still empty. But I noticed something after the fourth alert. The camera angle had changed, slightly tilted as if someone had touched it. I ran outside, heart banging in my throat. Grass wet against my ankles. No one in sight. As I turned around and reached the door handle, it was wet. Not rain wet, warm wet, like the heat of someone's palm had just been there. I locked myself inside, sat awake until sunrise. The final night happened 3 weeks later. I woke to a strange sound, slow dragging against my driveway. I opened the blinds and saw it. A dark shape crawling on its elbows, pulling its body forward. Bare feet dragging behind, not walking this time, dragging. Face turned upward, staring at my window. His mouth was open, not speaking, just breathing. Loud, rattled, desperate. I ran to call the police. As I did, motion alerts exploded on my phone. Every camera triggered front, side, back, garage. But the feeds showed nothing, except my backyard camera showed something faint. A hand pressed flat against the lens, leaving a wet outline. I turned off all lights, locked myself in my room, waited. No footsteps, no movement, just quiet. Too quiet. At sunrise, I checked outside. There were no footprints, no drag marks, no handprint. Just silence. I moved out 2 days later. New apartment, new locks, new neighborhood. Not to footsteps, not to a doorbell, not to motion alerts, but to the feeling that someone is standing outside, not knocking, not walking away, just waiting. And I think about the first moment I saw him, the look of him standing barefoot in the rain, no expression, no reason, no direction, just waiting. Like he picked me before I ever saw him. I've moved 6 times in the last year. Not because of my job, not because of rent, because something keeps knocking. And it's always the same pattern. 3 slow knocks, a pause, then 2. I first heard it back in my old apartment late one night, around 2:40 a.m., when I was almost asleep. Someone knocked on my bedroom door. Not the front door, my bedroom door. The one inside the apartment. I thought maybe my roommate needed something. Except I didn't have a roommate. I lay still, terrified, waiting for another sound. Silence. Just silence. I didn't open the door until morning. When I checked, nothing was moved. The apartment was empty, so I tried to ignore it. But the next night, it happened again. 3 knocks. Pause. 2 knocks. Soft. Too soft. Like knuckles wrapped in fabric. Something about that rhythm felt intentional, like someone trying to be recognized. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't sleep the next either. On the 4th night, the knocking happened while I was awake. I jumped and yelled, "Who's there?" Nothing. But the doorknob shifted. Not violently, just slow turning, like someone learning how to use it. I ran outside, called a friend, and stayed with him for the night. When I returned the next day, the bedroom door was open. That's when I moved out. I found a small studio across town. Great location, big windows, safe neighborhood. 3 nights in, no problem. 4th night, 2:38 a.m. 3 knocks, pause, 2 knocks. This time from my bathroom door, I left immediately. Checked into a hotel for a week. No knocks there, no sounds, no movement. So I found another apartment, different town, different landlord. A neighbor helped me move in. She was friendly, probably in her late 60s. She asked why I looked so tired. I told her jokingly that something keeps knocking no matter where I live. Her smile faded. She said, "Did you answer it?" I told her no. Her expression softened. "Good. If you ever answer, it becomes yours." I didn't ask what that meant. A week went by. Silence. Then, at exactly 2:39 a.m., I woke up not to knocking, but to whispers on the other side of the wall. My name, softly repeated, like whoever said it was practicing. I moved again. My fourth place was a basement suite. Fresh paint, new flooring, cheap rent. Too good to be safe. The very first night there, knock, 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 pause, knock, knock. From the inside of the closet, I sat frozen, and something new happened. Soft breathing, right against the closet door. Slow inhale, slow exhale. I packed without turning the light off and left before sunrise. Place 5 was a furnished rental. Nothing happened the first night. Nothing the second. Nothing the third. On the fourth night, I sat awake waiting, because that's when it always happened. Nothing. I laughed. I thought it was over. But when I got up to get water, I walked past the entry door and froze. There were greasy fingerprints on the metal inside handle. Long, thin fingerprints. Not mine. I moved again. Now the 6th place. Smaller room, 2nd floor, no connecting units. Last night I fell asleep early, and guess what woke me? Not knocking, not breathing, laughing. A man's laugh, but muffled, like through wood. I sat up, eyes burning, heart pounding. Then, knock, 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 pause, knock, knock. Right behind my bed, like someone standing inside the wall. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Then another sound. Dragging fingernails, slowly downward. I said out loud, "Stop!" The sound stopped immediately. Then a voice whispered clearer than anything before, "You heard me now." And the wall behind me trembled, like someone leaning their full weight against it. I'm moving again tomorrow, but I already know the truth. It's not the room. It's not the door. It's not the building. It's me. And wherever I go, it's coming too. Because last night, as I was loading boxes, someone knocked inside the moving truck wall. 3 knocks. Pause. 2 knocks. Followed by the whisper, "Answer next time."